Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hi guys, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Lisa.
And we are the hosts of The Book of the Dead, a true crime podcast based out of New Jersey, where we tell you about the most obscure cases that you may have never heard of. So join us in the Book of the Dead library for another chapter of The Book of the Dead wherever you get your podcasts. Bye guys.
Hi, this is Kelly.
And this is Jenna.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Deli for Murder.
I like
Hungry?
delis. I'm always hungry. I'm always, there's never not hungry for me. So,
well, the deli in this story, you might want to visit sometime. We are back in Florida, people.
Oh, Florida. We're
Palm
rating
Beach.
higher with Florida. Did you notice?
Apparently, everyone's like, hey,
they're talking about shit about us again.
Talking shit about us. We better find out what they're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
we are. Okay.
So we are in Palm Beach, Florida. So in the early 2000s, Glen Sandler was living the dream in Palm Beach. Right?
Rude.
He was, damn him. He was married to a beautiful woman. He had two sons, a thriving business. The Sandlers lived in a private community called Aero Club.
Ooh.
In a beautiful home with a 2-car garage and a private airplane hangar.
What?
For Glen's 4-seater plane. Yeah. I don't know if their house in particular was like this, but on the show that I watched, there was another neighbor who was like, oh yeah, you pull your cars into the front of the garage and the back of the garage opens and you can like pull out your plane.
You could literally like fly off from there. Like,
right. So then you would like taxi down to like the private airstrip that was there in the middle of the neighborhood.
I was just thinking, hey, just go down the street and be like, hey, watch out, everyone. Ah! And then take off.
Right. No, get out of the way. No, so I'm like, oh, must be nice. That sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Sandlers also had a vacation home in the Florida Keys. I mean, what more can anyone ask for? So Glen and Betty, whose full name was Blanche Schuessler, trying to say her name. She changed her name to Sandler anyway. So
okay, that's easier. Schuessler.
But instead of Blanche, she went by Betty. They got married in October of 1981. She was the ultimate stay-at-home mom. She took care of the two boys, Jeff and Greg. Both start with a G. Notice Glen, Jeff, Greg. There's a whole theme.
So it's the G-O-E-F-F.
G-off. It's G-off.
Yes, G-off.
And Greg has 2 G's and Glen has 2 N's. I feel like they're just, and Jeff, G-E-O-F-F. Like they're just throwing consonants out there. They just are wasting consonants left and right.
Hey,
I don't know.
Well, when you're rich, you can waste consonants. Right. Yeah.
They also had 2 dogs, but Betty was very involved in the PTA, the school with stuff with the boys, and Glen was a shrewd businessman.
Oh, that's why they're rich.
That's why they're rich.
You kind of got to be a dick to get naked in your freaking socks. Okay.
So by 1986, at the age of 33, he was already a self-made millionaire. And at this time, he considered himself retired. He did nothing but play golf.
At 33.
Right? At 33.
Oh my God. I'm such a loser.
Right. Yeah. Well, same Z's. Okay. In 1986, while he was playing golf, a lunchtime game of golf, he met some brothers and bought a restaurant off them.
I mean, deals are made on the golf course.
What else do you do?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
He bought a very popular restaurant in Palm Beach known as the Gourmet Deli House. And he bought it from 2 brothers, Andy and Bruce Garnett. It may have had a different name before.
Okay. Before he
took over it. I can't remember. But it still exists to this day. The Gourmet Deli House. Wow. It still has very high ratings. This place was known for their famous hot corned beef sandwich, which was said to be as big as a man's fist. So probably not good for the diet unless you plan on only eating half and saving half for later.
That's right. Yeah, that's what we all do, right?
Yeah. Right. That's what you say. I'll just bring half of it later. And then when they say, do you want a box? You're like, I'm kind of done. I polished that all off. So this place was so popular that sometimes people waited in line for 2 hours.
Wow. It's one of those,
I don't know.
It's some like that here.
Deli.
But like, Deli.
How good is this place? This place, I believe they said was like 150 seats. So it's a decent sized place. And people are still waiting 2 hours, right?
Damn. Okay.
The restaurant made about $3 million a year.
Shit. I guess that's a good investment.
Not a bad little golf.
Yeah. Good investment. All
investment, right? This deli also had a famous dessert called the killer chocolate cake.
That sounds good enough. It
sounds like something I would like. Yes.
And it was made from killer?
To die over? I don't know. Like death by chocolate.
Mm.
If there's a dessert on a menu called death by chocolate, I'm getting it.
You're in.
I'm just go ahead and just put it on.
Just kill you because it's death by chocolate.
Exactly. The secret recipe for that killer chocolate cake was also sold to Glen with the deli, right?
Well, that makes sense.
Was part of the deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's like Mr. Krabs and his secret sauce.
But this Mr. Krabs, this self-made millionaire, you figured, well, he'll just take the investment and just let it,
Right.
No, he started day one learning every single part of the business, everything that was made. He, did every single,
he was involved in it all.
Yeah. Whatever employee did what, he learned what each person did and everything. He was there every day, open to close. He was invested more than just financially. He was
that's
invested,
shocking. Right? Okay.
Right. And this was a good deal. Glen and Betty actually became friends with Andy Garnett and his wife, one of the brothers who sold him the deli. They took a cruise together. I believe they all went down to the Sandler's vacation house in the Keys once. On the surface, Glen was really nice, laid back, super friendly guy, not flashy. He was kind of a jeans and polo shirt kind of a guy. He was never really a dressy up kind of guy. He was generous with he would buy rounds of drinks on the golf course. He would take people to dinner. So, but you're like, there's a catch, right?
Yeah. Oh, no.
He did not like to lose. And I can't emphasize this enough. Okay. He did not like to lose.
Okay. All right.
He
took it personally.
In business and in life in general. It was said by some friends / acquaintances that if you were out on the golf course with him and, he missed a putt or something, you might want to duck because he's probably going to throw a club.
Shit.
He was cutthroat when it came to business.
Okay.
So he didn't mess around with business. He was super friendly and stuff outside of business, but when it came to business,
you just don't want to do business necessarily with him.
Some of his longer time employees said that even though the restaurant was doing really well, Glen was tight with money. And when certain employees asked for a raise, he would do things to intimidate them, like snap a pencil, slam down an ashtray and break it, like they were asking for the world.
Oh my God. Yet here he is with his Key West house and
he's doing fine,
airplane.
Right? One report said that he pulled a gun out on an employee to intimidate them.
Wow.
But it's cool because he didn't fire or anything. It was just a threat. It was just a shock valve.
Yeah, I'm quitting today. Thanks. Not worth it.
You know what?
What a dick.
And then there was that killer chocolate cake, right?
Uh-oh.
Well, Glen couldn't seem to master the recipe. He got the recipe, but it wasn't turning out the same. He even hired a baker to work with the recipe and try to figure it out. Wasn't working. It got to the point where he started to assume that Andy Garnett and his brother gave him a bogus recipe and basically ended their friendship over it.
Oh my God. Dude, maybe have that baker come up with their own new recipe.
Maybe ask them, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, guys.
Yeah.
They're friends. They're going on vacation together.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not getting it right. But
and if it is that they don't want to give it up, just be like, okay, well, I'm going to find my own killer fudge cake. I don't know.
All right. So in 2004, after more than 20 years of marriage, Betty decided she wanted a divorce. I don't know the reason for that, but people speculated that he was probably not an easy guy to live with.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was the speculation.
Especially if he's super cheap and you're like,
yeah. And from what I understand, she did like to dress up. She did like to look nice. She did like to look the part.
Liked the finer things.
Right. I don't know if he had a problem with that or not, but there was like some of the longtime deli employees were like, the ones that had been around them a lot were like, yeah, they probably wait until the kids graduate high school and then they're not going to stay together. Like they're just not
compatible anymore.
Betty's like, I want a divorce. And apparently this took Glen by surprise.
Because he's one of those men that,
right.
What?
Can't
Everything's fine. And yet the lady's been telling him like 5 years, I'm sick of you. I'm about to leave. And he's like, what?
Right, exactly.
Where did this come from?
But see, a divorce is a failed marriage. We don't do failure.
We don't lose at things. That's right.
He didn't want to lose his wife. He didn't want to lose his house. He didn't want to lose his airplane or his business in the divorce. So after the shock, a couple of days wore off, then he was like, oh, this is going to be a battle that I need to win.
No. Oh, no. So he's going to really torture her.
He offered Betty more than $2 million.
Okay. But he's worth how much?
Or I don't know for sure. Right. And she said, that's not enough. I want more.
Yeah.
And
especially
that
if she's going to keep the kids with her and stuff too.
That just infuriated him to no end. Right. And no matter what he offered her, it wasn't good enough.
Oh, okay. Well, how about half and half? Because you were married.
Right down the center, right? Glen started to, I don't know if you'd say he spiraled or he just kind of was like the straight-laced kid who goes to college and doesn't have parents around and then goes absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like he's reliving his youth he lost when he got married. Okay.
Betty kicked him out. He was staying wherever, I don't know.
I can't believe he actually left, being that he's like,
right.
I would assume he'd be like, you're out.
Yeah, I don't know. But she stayed in the house. He moved out.
Good.
He starts doing cocaine. He's hooking up with sex workers in seedy motels. Okay. He went from being at the deli every day to showing up about once a week to pay the bills.
Wow.
And he started complaining a lot when he would show up to the deli about Betty, that she was a greedy bitch and he didn't want to give her a penny.
Oh, no. And we're all like, we just wanted to know how many hoagies to order.
Right.
We don't give a fuck.
I just need you to sign all the payroll checks. Like, I don't really
I don't need to know about Betty.
I don't want to know. Plus, she's really nice. And you're like, I don't really want to get involved.
You're kind of a douchebag. Sorry.
Right. Then Glen made some more changes. He got a nose job and some LASIK eye surgery.
Did he get tips on his hair too?
I don't know. I don't know.
I got some highlights.
He got an earring. He got I don't know. I know about the nose job and the LASIK eye surgery. I don't know about the rest.
No. He got implants in his cheeks like some guys. Have you seen? Oh, they look so bad.
The spray tan, right?
The spray tan. Whoa, that's not natural, dude.
Right. Then when he started showing up to the deli, he starts bringing in a new, younger woman every week, bragging about how young and pretty she is and stuff. Yeah, right. And they're all like, yeah, whatever. We need to order more pastrami.
Yeah, I was really... the meat slicer's not working anymore.
Exactly. So in the fall of 2005, Glen asks his drug dealer, a guy by the name of Chris Robinson.
Oh,
but I think that's also the name of the lead singer of the Black Crowes, right?
Oh, I was thinking Winnie the Pooh, but that's Robin. Christopher Robin. I'm like, Chris Robinson.
Don't drag Winnie the Pooh into this.
I'm sorry. He's a dealer, but it's more in sugar. So
God, he didn't things did not pan out for him.
Christopher Robin's like, this treehouse shit is rough. Like living in the woods with my friends. I gotta do something more.
Woo! Okay.
Oh.
All right. So Chris Robinson is the name of the drug dealer.
Okay.
So Glen asked this guy, Chris, if he would throw a birthday party for his wife, which apparently was code for kill her for me. Very opposite of a birthday party. You don't get any more birthdays. It's the end of the birthday.
Oh, happy death day.
Happy death day. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I don't think Hallmark is going to get a lot of money with that one. But.
Do you have any Death Day cards and stuff? What?
Okay. On September 30th, 2005, Glen gave Chris $5,000 as a deposit to kill Betty.
Still, that's so low.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
That was the deposit. What, $5? I don't know how they figured that out. Right?
True.
The plan was that Chris and two of his friends were going to steal 2 cars and then arrange it so that they would, when Betty was out driving, smash into her in an intersection
on both sides
and then run so it looked like a hit and run accident.
That's so many parameters that could go wrong. Like, right. First of all, yeah,
right.
And then,
dude, where were you? You were supposed to hit her from the other side. Dude, I got stuck at a light, and there was a funeral procession, and then
so many things. Plus,
I didn't know I had to go through a school zone, and it was slower there, and there was a cop on my tail.
Plus, there's usually cameras around. You gotta kind
of a convoluted plan, right?
A really odd one.
The plan never came to fruition because shortly after, right, shortly after they came up with this idea, Chris Robinson was arrested on drug charges. So completely unrelated. Right. While in jail, he realized maybe he could negotiate things for himself with the police because he had this hot tip. I could tell you about this guy that wants to take out his wife.
That's pretty freaking hot tip.
He tells police about Glen Sandler. He tells them, I got, a deposit. And he even tells them what the plan was going to be.
And they're like, that was the stupidest plan I've ever heard. Okay.
He probably didn't even have to step in. That's never going to work. So police hear this and they're like, oh, and they realize they also had to act quickly because Chris said that Glen told him that he was actually the second person he had given a deposit to. He had given $5,000 to a biker named Meats, I don't know, to kill Betty, but the guy had taken the $5,000 and run.
Well, yeah, he worked at the deli as he was Meats.
He worked at the deli, right? Meats. It was the deli guy, right?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm out.
Sure, I'll kill your wife for $5,000. Give me, just give it to me now.
Of course you're gonna run.
Cool.
Yeah, no shit.
So he's just passing out $5,000 to whoever will kill his wife.
Okay,
right?
So he's got a lineup of help.
Yeah.
In case.
So detectives are like, we got to come up with a plan to get this guy quick before he hires somebody else who's actually competent.
We're going to go hire Lettuce. Lettuce this time.
Right.
Lettuce will do a good job.
So they sent in an undercover FBI agent to act as an acquaintance of Chris Robinson. They're like, so he's going to get in there and try to befriend Glen see if he'll ask him. Well, apparently he's just asking whoever's available. Right. The undercover agent told Glen his name was Fred. That was the name that he went by. He called Glen and said that he was actually Chris's boss, like the guy who got the drugs for Chris. Right? Okay.
Oh, he's the higher up.
He's the higher up, right?
All right.
And asked if they could meet up.
Yeah.
So on October 12th, 2005, they met in an Office Depot parking lot. Very shady dealings happened in the Office Depot parking lot.
I was thinking I would go to Harley Davidson parking lot, but I guess Office Depot is less assuming.
No, see, he's turned off of bikes now because Meats took off with his money.
Meats. So, God damn it, Meats. I'm never going to Harley again. We're Office Depoting from now on.
We're doing Office Depot. Fred kind of gained Glen's trust by basically meeting up with him and just being like, Chris is becoming a problem for me. He's costing me a lot of money. So he's just kind of bitching about him.
So Glen, he can relate. He's like, same.
Exactly.
I've got people to get rid of too.
That's what he said. He's like, dude, he's like, I totally know what you mean. He's like, my wife is trying to, screw me over for money. Right.
Yeah.
And, Chris was supposed to do a job for me. And I still need this job done.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, we're in tough spots.
Yeah. Right.
It just sucks.
And all of this is being recorded, of course. Right.
Of course it is. Yeah.
So Fred asks Glen, what's this job you needed done?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Glen tells him about Chris's plan and how they were going to do this hit and run thing. And Fred laughs. He's like, that's a horrible idea. like,
that is one of the stupidest plans I've ever heard.
Right. And he brings up, he's like, what if your wife survives the accident and ends up with like a broken back and is in a wheelchair for the rest of her life? And then you got to support her, right? This is horrible.
Totally.
He goes, look, if you want the job done right for 20 grand, I can do the job. I'm going to bury her with lime, and then her body's never going to be
They'll
found.
never find the body. Then you can't be prosecuted. Dude, you're in the clear. Okay.
Right. He's like, the lime will take care of her, bone and all.
Except we know that's rarely the case.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Exactly.
Anyway.
That's one of the things I Googled that I was like, I'm so going to get on a list.
Oh, totally. Does lime really get rid of a body?
Because he's like, yeah. And so I read one place that said, yeah, it helps to increase decomposition. But then there was another place that I read that said that there's studies that say it actually slows it down. So I don't know.
Yeah, it probably depends on a ton of different factors. Interesting.
I don't really know. So anyways, but this was all in the name of research for this podcast.
I mean,
yes,
I don't have any bodies.
I don't even know where you buy lime. I only know about the produce.
I only know the produce.
I only know, unless I'm using it with like tequila and shit. I got nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So
Jen's like cutting up a ton of lime.
Like squeezing it all.
It's gonna decay everything. I know it.
Right, exactly. I know this is gonna come to as a shock to you, but Glenn didn't have a lot of friends. He had acquaintances, but he didn't have any real friends, right?
Yeah, acquaintances come with lots of money, I've heard.
Right. It was kind of easy for Fred to gain his trust because he thought that they were kind of like, hey, this dude gets me. We have like the same problems.
Kindred spirits. This is right? Wow.
Did we just become best friends? Fred let Glenn vent about Betty and his concern about how I'm going to lose everything. She is going to
pretty much all he had to do. It sounds like, just let
him just go. Right.
Put himself in a hole.
And he said, whatever I give her, it won't be enough. Right. That was the thing. It'll never be enough. He hinted that Betty was either blackmailing him or had the power to blackmail him.
Oh, she had some. Was there a PP tape?
There was something. Why would you go there? Oh, God. Okay. So police are like, all right, Fred needs to keep up the BFF Act right now.
That's got to be rough.
Let's see what else is going on with Glenn. Like, what does he have that she can blackmail him about,
Maybe we should get him drunk and get him talking.
That would have been a good idea. They went a different way. But
okay.
Next time,
we can try
when
I'm undercover, I'll try that.
To buy some time, Fred told Glenn he needed to do surveillance on Betty. He needed to learn her routine, know what was going on. This is going to take some time, right? He's like, I got to do the job right. I'm not going to do this half-assed intersection. Yeah. This also gives him more time to meet up with Glenn and bond with him and get him talking, right? So police watched Betty. He had some help, right? So he didn't have to actually do his own surveillance on Betty. They had other people. We got a whole team for that. Yeah. We got minions for that shit. And so Fred would report things back like, you have like 2 dogs and she takes them everywhere. So he's like, oh yeah, he's really watching them. Right?
Okay.
And she liked to work out. She went to the gym today. Yep. She was to the gym every day, that kind of stuff, right?
So much better than the dual car
such a stupid plan.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, he's really doing his leg work. And Glenn's like, all right, cool. So he's like, okay, hopefully this is enough to keep him from soliciting somebody else.
Shit, yeah, keep him busy.
Because he feels like something's getting done, right? In one of their Office Depot parking lot meetups, Fred, who was supposed to be this drug trafficker, right? Because he's the next guy up in the, right? But he's still got to talk his side up and they got to be friends. So he's mentioning transporting drugs by airplane. And Glenn is like, well, I can do that for you. He's like, I got a plane. It can carry up. I have a plane. I can carry up to 200 pounds. And he's like, really? And Glenn's like, oh yeah, I used to do it all the time. In the 80s, I did it all the time.
This is. Okay. I might know what Betty had on him. I might know.
Right.
Wow.
So,
okay.
On tape, he's going on and on about how he used to do run drugs from Colombian suppliers out of Miami in his speedboat. Also had a speedboat, apparently. So
like
there
Miami
was
Vice.
one tape. Yeah, that's what they kept comparing it to. It was like he was living the Miami Vice days. I don't know if he had like the jacket with the pulled up sleeves or whatever, but
and the pink little shirt
and the hair and the pink shirt. They have him on tape recorded saying, "I'd get 1,000 a key no matter what, just to transport. So I'd get $100,000 just to get out of bed."
No freaking wonder he's a millionaire.
Self-made millionaire. Yeah, that probably came pretty quick too.
No shit.
By 33. Betty obviously knew there was some cash there. So, or she at least realized she knew what was in the bank account or whatever. I don't know.
I'm sure she knew something.
So he also said on tape that once he'd been charged with cocaine trafficking. And he could have gotten 30 years, but he was able to, quote, buy the judge for $12,000 and get the charges expunged.
Oh, that makes me so mad. Those filthy judges. Oh, there's so many of them too.
Maybe it's just me, but I was like, it only cost $12,000.
That's true. That's pretty low.
I feel like considering he was making $100,000 a day just to get out of bed, like Glen offers to be his new bestie's drug transporter by flying his own plane. He's like, I'll be your guy, man. I can do this. I'm so good at this.
Perfect.
We are going to be besties and we're going to work together. And we're going to have so much time for activities.
Pedicures. I'm so excited. We'll go kill meats together.
We'll get meats and lettuce. Get them all.
We'll get them all.
So with this info, detectives are like, dude, we might have a serious drug smuggler on our hands that we can take down at the same time.
Yeah.
So they decide to set up a fake drug run.
Yes. Now it'll be current. Yes.
Now it'll be current, right? And the run was supposed to be from Sebring, Florida to Palm Beach.
Okay.
And in exchange, Fred would take $5,000 off the 20 he was asking to kill Betty. He's like, I'll give you a deal.
I'll throw it in.
I'll throw in the lime.
Jenna's really good. My girl, she's great at juicing these. So
right?
It's gonna be free. We'll throw it right in.
So Glen took Fred in his 4-seater plane and flew them to Sebring Regional Airport in Central Florida to pick up what he thought was 5 kilos of cocaine. At the airport, they met the supplier, who was another undercover agent who said his name was T-Bone. I had to laugh.
You know.
Which is like meats.
And then there's pork chop and ham. They're all out back.
I didn't even think of that till just now. T-Bone. So then the 3 of them flew back to North County Airport in Palm Beach with the 5 kilos. Once the drug run happened, Glen is all anxious to get a move on. Like, all right, let's get this hit done. Like, I'm ready to go, right? Fred asked Glen, rather than kill Betty, why don't you just use your plane? We'll do enough drug runs to pay her what she wants, right? He was trying to give him an out.
Yeah, give him an out.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, this is the mother of his 2 sons.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, are you sure you want to do this?
Right. Are you sure? Yeah. You know, we could just pay her off. Like, we could make this money real fast, right?
Why bother? What if you get caught and you have to go to jail forever?
Exactly. Plus, we're making some good money. Now that we have, the BFF
got your
drug run business, we're good. But Glen was like, no, I am done with her. She can blackmail me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but your kids, they're going to be going through some shit. And wouldn't that suck to watch them grieve?
But then he'd have to lose.
We
don't lose, Kelly.
Point.
We don't lose. Glen told Fred that Betty knew about some income tax that was never paid from a business they once had together.
Like the Coke business?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, no, Betty has to go. Once someone starts blackmailing you, they got you. They're never gonna.
Oh, well, but what about, he could blackmail the judge then too. He could be like,
where does it end? I don't know.
It just keeps going up the rung. All right.
I don't know. Fred offered a few times just to threaten Betty, like real extreme threat, right? He offered, this is crazy. He offered to stick her in a trunk, drive her around for a few days, and then let her go, saying, next time you won't be going home.
Wow.
Right? He's like, that should keep her. And Glenn was like, no. He's like, okay, how about this? I bury her alive and then pull her out of the hole at the last second.
Nope. Fuck that.
Twisted shit, right?
Nah.
Glenn's like, nope,
Still
not good enough. Not good enough.
God.
Okay, we tried.
Okay.
So Fred's like, all right, then let's go along with the hit, right?
Dang. This dude's vindictive.
He recorded Glenn saying, all I ever hear from Betty is, it's not enough. I want more. And Fred's like, what do you want me, like, what message do you want me to give her? What do you want the last things for her to hear is? And he goes, I want you to say, is this enough?
Oh, God, that's cruel.
Okay. Yeah, so she'd know.
Oh,
so,
she would absolutely know.
Fred's like, I'm not going to tell you what the plan is. And I'm not going to tell you where or how or when or anything like that, right? So you don't know any of this stuff. He's like, but when she's dead and buried with the line, I will call you and I'll use the phrase, the weather is good up north. That way you'll know the job is done.
Something about a birthday. I picked up the cake.
Right. There you go. Right. Exactly.
Okay. The weather is
balloons have been delivered.
The balloon deflated.
On November 8th, 2005, police pulled Betty over in her car and told her that her husband had taken a hit out on her.
Yo, you're in danger. What?
You sound like Ghost. Molly, you're in danger, girl. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I love that movie.
Yo, you totally remind me of that.
Danger.
They're like, so your husband took a hit out on you, but he hired an undercover agent.
Don't worry about it.
So
okay.
It's all
so
good.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what happened to Hams or whatever his name is. Meats. Pork chop. But you're good. There's some random meaty dude out there.
Some random biker took $5,000. So
we don't know if he's still after you, but you're okay, probably.
They expected her to be shocked, scared, freaked out. She was actually not surprised. She was more like,
yeah, that tracks.
Like that exactly, right?
God,
like I am so sick of his shit. Like she was just like, she was just like, nah, like, that makes sense. Yep. No, not she was just like frustrated, like God, like exasperated.
Wow. Okay. God. Not again, Glenn.
He's so Glenn. That is not so again. Glenn. Right. Betty hides with police and they take her car and some of her personal items and they leave her car in the parking lot of a grocery store. So it looks like she just went grocery shopping and
not
then
Office Depot. What?
No, that's their place. That's their special
place.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just looks like maybe she was abducted in the middle of her daily routine or whatever.
Yeah.
So they leave that, right? And then Fred calls Glenn and says, the weather's good up north. Right. And says,
when actually there's a freaking hurricane that day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's really
the weather's good. And then they planned, all right, so they're going to meet tomorrow in their special spot at the Office Depot. They go to the Office Depot the next day. Glenn gets into Fred's car where the tape is always rolling.
Yeah, right? It is.
And Fred confirms Betty. And I just realized Fred and Betty. It's like the Flintstones.
Totally.
Sorry. Took me. Wow. We're like almost done with the episode. And it just.
Wilma's not even around.
I know.
All right.
So Fred confirmed that Betty was dead. And Glenn's like, so what'd she say when you said, is this enough? Like, that's what he wanted. What'd she say? What'd she say? Fred goes, no, she didn't really answer to that. She was more concerned about what was going to happen to her kids.
Oh, good.
So
take that, Glenn.
Fred is giving him every freaking chance, but this douchebag, Glenn goes, they're going to grow up.
Oh,
what's going to happen to them? They're going to grow up.
Oh, these poor kids. Wow. Daddy needs to go to an institution, children. Daddy sucks ass.
So he goes on to be like, well, I expect to hear from them soon. They're probably going to be wondering where their mother is. He referred to Jeff as just a total loser.
Oh, his own kids.
Oh, this is all recorded. Yep. And Greg as the one he'd do anything for. Oh yeah. Isn't that great?
Right. How old are they by this point? Do we know?
So I'm thinking they gotta be, because they kept talking about they wouldn't stay together once the kids were in high school or graduated.
Right.
So I'm guessing
Do you
they
think
got to
they're
be like
grown up almost.
I think if I read somewhere, I think one of them was like 20 or 21. So I'm guessing they're
Still,
quote unquote adults, but they're not.
No. I have
They
a
probably both still
19-year-old.
lived
They're
at
not
home,
adults
right,
yet.
with her, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So he's like, they're gonna grow up, whatever,
what
right?
a piece of shit. What a
right,
piece
man.
of fucking
I hope
shit.
those kids didn't have to. Well, I mean, I got this information. The kids probably got it at some point
I'm
too, if they
sure
ever
they
looked up
know
anything
about
about their dad. Oh my god. So
Ugh.
Glenn also says, no problem. I got a solid alibi. He made sure that he was home with a handyman all day. So yep, he
doesn't
had it
matter
all
if you called a
worked out.
hit, dude.
Right.
Okay. I was at the handyman all day, watching
Yeah.
the handyman work, but definitely not getting his own hands dirty.
Fred's like, here's Betty's car keys and her cell phone. Do you want them? And he's like, I don't want the keys. Get rid of the keys. But I want her cell phone. I want to see who she's been calling. He was concerned about.
Oh my God. He's the douchebag. Dude, you're the douchebag.
Right. Exactly. So
no.
Glenn gave Fred an envelope with $15,000, because he got that he had the coupon. He had the drug run coupon. Right.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and Fred was like, we should lay low for a little while before we do any more drug runs. Let's let this, this whole your wife disappeared
play
thing
out a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
You might have to go to a funeral.
Right. So Glenn gets out of the car and he's walking back to his car and he's swarmed by police.
Because he gave money. Yes.
Right? He's swarmed by police and he's arrested for solicitation to commit first-degree murder and for trafficking in cocaine. Glenn's not done though. 6 weeks later after his arrest, like he had no trial or anything yet. 6 weeks after, police are informed by another inmate that Glenn was still shopping for someone to kill Betty from jail.
Give up. You have been thwarted. Your efforts have been thwarted.
So
leave it.
That was enough to get a judge to deny him bail. So they're like, nope, sorry. You're still not
you're
done.
not going on
your
your little speedboat.
Right. So Glen Sandler was facing up to 60 years in prison.
Ooh.
And he had planned to plead insanity at his trial.
Oh, right.
I don't really understand
How's he gonna? Yeah.
I was completely insane when I did this entire plot, and I was insane when I was
for the whole
plane,
period.
And I was right.
Just during those moments. Otherwise, I was fine.
Shortly after he was arrested, his father passed away.
Ooh, okay.
And then Jeff Sandler, his son, died in a motorcycle accident. Here I have. He was 22. I don't know if he was older or younger, but he was at 22.
Least, fuck. That sucks. Did Glenn even give a fuck? No.
I don't know. Wait, which one was Jeff? Was Jeff
he didn't like
Jeff?
He thought Jeff was the bad
Jeff
one.
was the total loser. So probably
this dickhead didn't even care, probably.
Glenn and Betty's divorce was finally finalized in February 2007 while he's awaiting trial. Betty got to keep the house and the golf cart.
But not the plane.
No. And all their personal property. She got like the furniture and the jewelry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Glenn got some land that they had in South Carolina.
How is he getting shit when he's in jail?
I don't know.
Fuck that dude. No.
He got land in South Carolina. He got the Deli, his plane, and he had a motorcycle too.
What? Especially because of the drug charges. You would think they would have to take all that.
They will.
Because that was probably earned illegally.
Well, but right now he's just accused.
Oh, right. Accused. He's not proven.
He isn't convicted yet, right? Their stocks and retirement funds were split.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry, right here. A lot of Glenn's assets were seized.
Good.
Including his plane and his motorcycle, because they'd been used for drug trafficking. So once everything that was left was divided up, so that was all their property, they divided it up. And then after what was left of what Glenn had, Glenn was ordered to pay Betty permanent alimony.
Oh, right. Alimony. Yes.
Right. Okay. But once they added up what he had left, the amount ended up being $100 a year.
Oh my God. Wow.
A year.
So it was basically for nothing.
All of it was for nothing. She's not going to get anything. He's in jail now. If they had just gone and just separated. Yeah. And so that was in February 2007. In June 2007, Glen accepted a plea deal instead of doing the insanity business, right? And he pled guilty to get 15 years instead of 60.
Wow.
15. And he had to pay a $250,000 fine. So they took everything from him. Glen's brother took over the Gourmet Deli, which website's still up. They still seem to be doing business.
Good
so
for you,
next
bro.
time you're in Palm Beach, check out the Gourmet Deli. This story has like no point of view from Betty because she is still afraid of Glen, knowing that he tried to have her killed 4 times.
Absolutely. Plus there's people that get out of jail every day and
want exactly. Money. So she doesn't do interviews. She doesn't talk to people about it. She did sell the house and she lives in an undisclosed location. Yeah. I mean, at least it's good to know that Glen sucks at killing. I mean, 4 times he tried to solicit. He can't get the killer chocolate cake either. I don't know.
Anything that involves killing.
It's just not his thing.
No.
Shrewd businessman. Not great at golf.
Well, kind of good. I don't know if he's even good at business. He's claimed so, but he did all the coke shit. So I'm guessing that's where all the money really came from. And he wasn't really a great businessman, but
so
interesting.
That is the story of Glen Sandler and his deli.
And meats and lettuce.
And meats and T-bone.
Ham. Pork chop.
Also, side note, I had to look up. I didn't actually know what pastrami was. That's apparently one of their big dishes.
I dare you.
I never had pastrami, right? So I looked it up, right? I Googled it. And it says, and you probably already know this. So it's the same like brisket that they use for corned beef.
I don't know this. I've just eaten it. So
it's just 2 different sides, I guess.
Like the same as corned beef, huh?
Yes. But here's the thing.
Prepared different. Okay.
I don't care for corned beef because I think it's too fatty. I get really grossed out by the fatty chunks.
The fat chunks, yeah.
And apparently pastrami is fattier than...
It's pretty fatty.
I will not be having any pastrami.
Sliced very, very thin with a ton of cheese. Then it's great.
Okay. Then it's good? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear my sources?
I kind of need to because I need to know where meats went. Meats,
You're
where are you? Okay.
So it all started, I went down this rabbit hole because I watched Dateline, Secrets Uncovered. Season 12, episode 3, Recipe for Murder.
Yes, you did. Okay.
I read an article on oxygen.com. I got the cinemaholic.com, but there was also an article from the Broward Palm Beach News Times called Kill My Wife, Please.
And all these people wrote in, okay.
Right.
Mine too.
Like, kill my wife, please. Like the old comedian who would be like, take my wife, please. Yeah, right. But totally. It's kill my wife. Because apparently Glen just walked around Palm Beach with $5,000 going. Anybody?
Anyone? Meat,
any takers?
Pork chop? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Good story.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to another fun-filled and very educational episode.
And savory. I mean, there were so many meats involved. Yeah, sorry, Florida.
I'm sorry. You just keep giving us such great material.
You have so much good material. And we do love your beaches, so we love to visit you.
I know, right.
I actually love your woods, too. The woods were pretty fun, although I did find a barrel.
Don't open the barrel.
Just don't open the fucking barrel.
Right.
I did find one. I did not open it like a sane person. All right. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of ODFM. ODFM is hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Editing and production is by Kelly DeVries. Theme music is by Eric Swanson. For images from each episode and more, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok with the handle ODFM Podcast. For video episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for ODFM Podcast. If you are looking for more content, chances at prizes and more, become a Patreon fan at patreon.com/ODFM Podcast. Subscribing to our Patreon is a great way to help us get better equipment, and our big goal is to hire an editor someday, so your contribution could really make a difference. If you can't give monthly, there are other ways you can help. Share us with your true crime friends. Word of mouth goes a long way. Or you can give us a one-time contribution through buymeacoffee.com/ODFM podcast. We appreciate your support, and someday we hope to make ODFM our main jobs with your help.